Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to go over my New Year's resolutions or my goals. I like the word goals better than resolutions for this beautiful upcoming year, 2026. All right, if you're new here, hi, I'm Claire. Welcome. Come on in and make yourselves comfortable. If you are new here, I don't know, maybe you're just interested in this absolutely random person's goals, but climb on board, okay? We're gonna talk about not only my goals for this year, but each year I have a tradition of going over last year's goals and letting you know if I did, in fact, complete them. This is ultimate internet accountability. I do pretty much limit myself these days to about 5 goals, 5 resolutions, and they really span over a lot of different areas in my life. If you want to see last year's video, I will link it down below, but I am gonna just briefly go over what the 5 goals for last year were, and I'm gonna be totally honest with you on how I actually did. All right, let's get right into it. My first goal last year, it wasn't really a goal, but it was this new idea. I did it for the first time last year, and that is I picked a word of the year. A word that was going to encapsulate all my goals. And the word I chose last year was joy. I was going to move through life with a joyful lens. I was gonna find joy in the simple things. I was gonna find joy where it felt like there was none. And let me tell you, dear watcher, it did not work, okay? This did not work for me. I'm still gonna do another word of the year. We'll get to that later. But joy was not a good choice. I really thought that I could control that, and I can't. I actually cannot control how much joy I feel. I think you can try to be positive and you can try to find joy, but you can't manufacture it, I don't think. And I really thought I was going to combat this ever difficult to navigate political scene in our country and world. I was going to outsmart it by being joyful. And that did not work. There were lots of very joyful moments. I did have a great year in a lot of ways. But I wouldn't say it was my most joyful year. And yeah, I think we're gonna say no on that one. Number 1, the word of the year, it didn't really work, I'm sorry. My second goal from last year has to do with money. I always throw a money goal in there. My husband and I always get together like monthly, sometimes more than that, to talk about our finances, but we really like to have like a year wrap up where we talk about what do we want to do for the next year, what things worked this year, what things didn't. Let's look at all the balances. What do we want to do? What do we want to achieve? And that's like a separate little list we have between my husband and I. So I thought I would update you on the savings goal. Last year, the goal was to save $15,000, and that was in like an account that was just for emergency savings. So this does not include like the brokerage account we have for the children. This does not include like saving for a vacation or the other like saving for Christmas and like the other sub accounts. I mean, just an emergency account, just for if something terrible happens. I wanted to get 15K in that account. I'm sorry to say, guys, I didn't do that one either. But let me explain. I do feel like we did do this one. However, we did have an emergency, so I did have to dip into it. And I would like to, in the future, maybe amend what I define as an emergency. We learned a lot, which does have value. But this year we did have some pretty big expenses we weren't planning on. We had to replace our front doors, which turned out to be an insane amount of money to get front doors. I really could not believe that. My youngest needed braces. The dog had a medical emergency that we had to pay for. And I do drive a 14-year-old car that we had to put a little money into this year. I think overall we did definitely save 15K. We just also spent a lot of it. So we're sitting at around 10K in that account. So not terrible. I still think that we achieved what we set out to achieve there. I'm gonna say we did it. But when I talk to you about my goals for this upcoming year, we'll come back to that number. All right, my third resolution from last year was to cut down on my screen time. And I'll admit, I didn't do perfect on this one either, but I did better than I thought I would. And I think it really lasted the first few months of the year. I was very diligent about not spending endless hours scrolling on TikTok. I also feel like I was more intentional with my screen time. So instead of just like mindlessly scrolling, my husband and I, we just finished it last night too. We watched The Sopranos, like the full series for the first time for me, which was incredible, guys. It was really, really good. So I was more intentional with like when it was time to be entertained by a screen. Is this something that's gonna be thought-provoking, something I can share with my partner, something that's not destroying my attention span, TikTok? But I will say that about mid-year, it started getting bad again with TikTok, and I'm sure it's because of the news. I'm like a news spiraler, and TikTok knows this. They know how to suck me right in. So I would say half achieved, okay? I think I did more with intentional screen time, but I'm not sure I really cut down the total screen time. But we'll come back to that as well. My number 4 goal for last year was eat more vegetables, and I smashed this. I am usually pretty good at eating vegetables, but just with that extra intentionality behind it, adding a handful of spinach here and there, throwing more beans in things, I did pretty good with the veggies. I've started like adding veggies to things I normally would eat plain. So if like I'm going to have a burger, I'm gonna make sure that I put a bunch of lettuce on it and onions and other things, you know, a tomato, where in the past I might have just preferred the meat and cheese. I'm trying to, instead of like take food out and put veggies in, I just like made a real effort to just add veggies to everything. And I did really good with it. And I have more goals there as well, which we'll talk about soon, but I'm pretty proud of myself with the amount of vegetables I ate in 2025. All right, and my 5th goal, my last one for last year, was to reach 50K subscribers. And you guys, I did it. I didn't do it, you did it. You did this one for me. And I know like I have to do all the things, like upload consistently, and like I'm not always the best at replying to all my comments. I read them, but sometimes I just get really burnt out. Maybe if I did less screen time, I wouldn't feel so much about using more screen time to do all the YouTube things. We should explore that in 2026. Anyway, I am just thrilled that I reached 50K subscribers, especially because, and I shouldn't even be proud of this, but I didn't do like any brand deals all year. Like I did this without having to pay anybody. No one edited my videos for me. No one made my thumbnails. I don't have a manager. I don't have AI pumping things out, telling me what's gonna trend. I just made videos that I wanted to make. And I'm so just absolutely thrilled and honored that so many of you said yes to that. So good job, guys. That one's for you. Well done. And those were my 5 from last year, and you know, with varying success, but I think pretty good. We'll take it. And now we're going to move on to my 5 for 2026, starting with the word of the year. And I even toyed with not doing a word again because the joy seemed so silly to try to achieve. But I think I picked a word that makes a little more sense for my vibe. So my word of the year is wellness. And the sort of idea I have for wellness is more about like putting myself first, because as a mother, as probably a lot of you also feel this way, I really put my own needs to the bottom of the list like 99% of the time. And you know, I'm pretty good at getting the little things in here and there that do spark joy for me, but there's a lot of things that I don't do. I rarely exercise. I do take a walk, but I don't like prioritize like building muscles or like I would like a massage once in a while. I think that would be good for me. And not just like that sort of bougie self-care. I don't need to like go get facials and get my nails done, but just like if there's a thing that I want to do or I want to see or I want to taste or I want to buy, I would like to give myself permission to do that this year. I'm going on a trip this year on my own. Well, not quite on my own, not with my husband. I'm meeting some friends, and that seems really good for the wellness vibe. I also think like mental health is under the umbrella of wellness. I did go through a ton of therapy in 2024, but we'll see. 2026, we might need a pit stop in the old therapy again, just because, you know, maybe you have caught this as from watching me for a long time, but I run at a pretty high level of anxiety generally. I'm pretty in control all the time of everything. And we might need to revisit that, I think, for 2026. But again, that's under the umbrella of wellness. Like, when I am moving through this year, am I doing it in a way that prioritizes me feeling well? Next, we're gonna talk about the financial goals. Back to that emergency savings. This year, I wanna get $20,000 in there. But from the lessons I learned from 2025, this means that I need to also be mindful of my 14-year-old car. I should probably not just be making that emergency fund and nothing else. I need to anticipate these other things as well. So we're gonna give it our all, and hopefully we can get 20K in there. I think we can, but you know, as long as I don't need to replace a door or my dog doesn't try to die, hopefully nothing big happens. We're gonna refrain from taking any huge trips, I think. Obviously, don't quote me on that, because we might dip into the wellness category and be like, I can't handle this, I need to go somewhere for a while. So we'll see how the year goes, but I'm planning on not doing anything extravagant until we've got that 20K in the bank for if, you know, I get hit by a bus or my husband loses his job. You know, like emergency. So we're bumping the bar up again for the savings. I mean, guys, I do make a little money on YouTube, so watch all the videos, like all the videos, share all the videos. I promise I'm gonna put all the money into my emergency savings. All right, next, back to the old screen time. And we need to revisit this for sure for 2026, because I have made the decision that I'm going to remove TikTok from my phone. I do feel that this is the only way. And it doesn't mean I'll like remove my account. I can still go back to it because I have loads of like recipes and like cool things saved on there that I want to revisit. But I think it needs to leave my phone for good. And I know there's still like Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, but that TikTok algorithm is like crack, people, okay? I think it just needs to go. And I know just saying have less screen time, it's not like it can't be quantified. You know, what is less screen time? Am I going to be calculating it every day? I think a way, really the only way for me to ensure that I'm getting less screen time is to give the old TikTok the boot for a little while. So I haven't done it yet. It's January 2nd as I'm filming this right now, and I've not yet done it. I'm gonna do it after this weekend, okay? I'm gonna go through any recipes that I have saved and any content that I'm like maybe needing soon. We'll revisit it. And then she's gone, okay? And again, I would love to read more books, and I was thinking with my husband too for more intentional screen time. The New York Times just posted their 100 best movies of the 21st century. And I thought it would be fun for my husband and I to go through that list together and just like give it a go. A lot of them obviously we've already seen, but a lot of them we haven't seen in a long time, or some we haven't seen at all. And I think it would be fun to plan little dates around them. Obviously it's quite affordable to just watch a movie, stream one from your house. So that's another way I might be more intentional with the screen time. But yeah, TikTok's gotta go. All right, number 4 is my eating habit goal for the year. And that is, guys, I'm gonna try to eat beans every day. And that's why it's gonna be hard to get rid of TikTok, because I've recently come across what they call bean talk. And I am seeing so many incredibly creative things that people are doing with beans. Not only are beans so good for you, okay, we care about the gut health. I care about my risk for colon cancer. Not that anyone in my family's ever had it, but young people are increasingly getting colon cancer at like an insane rate. I want to up my fiber, up my iron, up my protein. I want to do all that stuff. And I also want to save money. You know me. I want to eat beans every day. That is my goal for the whole year. It doesn't need to be like an insane, like multiple cups of beans in every meal. But I would like to find creative ways to eat loads of beans. The year 2026 is the year of the bean in the Risper household, okay? I even made bean brownies last night and everybody in the family loved them. It was black beans. You just like blend them up in your food processor with all the other ingredients. Insanely delicious fudgy texture. Everyone ate beans yesterday. It was amazing. So yeah, be sure you hit subscribe and stay tuned, because I will be cooking a lot of beans this year and I will be sharing it with you, okay? And goal number 5 is going to be my goal for us here on the channel. And I thought about making my goal 75,000 subscribers, but that feels just like massive and like kind of undoable. It's like I'm really at the mercy of the algorithm. Like once in a while, a video will just go crazy and like so many people will see it. And I don't know why. I just can't figure out. Sometimes I just like throw a video together at the last second and it's just like what I ate that day, and all of a sudden it'll get 100,000 views and all these people. And then sometimes there's videos that I like spend a ton of time on. I'm voiceovering, I'm editing hours of footage, I'm doing all this stuff, I'm shopping for all the ingredients, and then it doesn't get pushed out there at all. So it's like, I really don't know. So it does feel a little out of my control. I would like to get 70K. I think we can get 20 more this year. I think we can do it. So again, share me to everyone so that we can hit this goal. And yeah, it's obviously quite validating for me in a creative way, because I'm out here pouring my heart and soul on the internet. And when people see it and they like it and they find it helpful, when you guys comment things like, oh, this helped me so much, or like, I live alone and I have a hard time cooking for one, or like, I'm recently an empty nester and I don't know what to do and now I do. And like, I love it. It validates me to the high heavens, you guys, that anything that I know or do is helping anyone. Like literally the greatest gift in the world is just the fact that like anything I do is helpful. So we love this. And even if we don't hit the 70K, I'll be okay with that. Like however this channel wants to grow organically is the point for me. I'm not here trying to get these huge brand deals and do all this glitzy professional stuff. It's just me and my camera, and I'm good with that. And I think that we will make it. Let's speak that into the universe. We'll hit 70K, guys, right? Right. And there you go. Those are my 5 goals this year. I have them written down on this little paper, and I'm just gonna tape it inside of one of my like closet doors. So every time I open it, I see it, so that we can kind of stay focused. I think the one I'm most excited for, honestly, are the beans, okay? I'm getting obsessed with them. I'm gonna try some Marry Me lentils, because obviously not just beans, we're talking legumes, okay? We're gonna do some split pea soup. We are also counting peanuts. Peanuts are a legume, okay? We're gonna get down on some hummus. We're gonna make our own falafel. It's gonna be a great year. That's the one I'm most excited for. But I do feel like I'm moving into 2026 with a good attitude. I'm ready to tackle all the things that have yet to come. I hope you feel the same way. Whatever is going on in your life and how you're feeling, you should pick a word of the year, but don't pick joy unless you're prepared to be disappointed. Pick something realistic, but I do think that a word of the year is cool and a worthy thing to do. So I hope you got something out of this video, whether it's just maybe some inspiration to take accountability for some of your goals or things you've tried in the past, and maybe just some inspiration for what you have to look forward to in the upcoming year. Of course, come on back for more content. I was gonna say more content like this, but I really only make this video once a year. Come for more content about being a frugal queen, about eating lots of beans, about saving money in all the ways, and about being generally well. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Happy New Year!